Hi there, my name is Kira, and today I'm going to be showing you how to crochet a magic ring. And now this is the method that I think is the easiest to learn how to make a magic ring, especially for beginners. Feel free to pause, rewind, speed up, slow down the video as needed, and let's just go ahead and get started. For yarn today, I'm going to be using Premier Parfait Chunky. This is the color yellow. And you can see this is a size 6 super bulky yarn, which just means that it's a little bit thicker yarn, so you can get yarn in several different sizes. Typically for when you're making the little plushies or animals, you'll want to use something around a size 6 super bulky yarn. And then this is telling me to use an 8mm crochet hook, but I prefer to use a 5mm crochet hook, so that's what I'm going to be using today. I feel like this just keeps my stitches nice and tight and put together, and this is I pretty much use a 5mm hook for any project, so I would recommend using a 5mm hook if you have it. For supplies, I would also recommend having a stitch marker. If you don't have a stitch marker like this, you can use pretty much anything around your house. When I first started learning how to crochet, I was using a bobby pin. You can use a paper clip or a binder clip, or really just anything that you can kind of fit in between the stitches to hold your place. And then lastly, it might be helpful to have a pair of scissors. So the first thing I'm going to do is open up my yellow yarn. And to find the end of the yarn, at least with this brand, typically it'll be kind of tucked into the end of the ball of yarn. Here it is. So you can see that piece that's tucked into the center there. That's the end of the yarn. So if I just pull on that, then it'll come out. And I'm just gonna get myself a little bit of yarn. Now, a magic ring is probably the trickiest part of crochet. At least it was for me when I was starting. So if you can get through this part, feel free to rewind it, watch it as many times as you need to. But if you can get through this part, then you should be all set for the rest of the pattern. So what I'm gonna do is I have my cut end of the yarn here, and I'm just gonna kind of lay that across my fingers with the cut end at the top of my hand. I am right-handed, so I like to use my right hand to hold my crochet hook. If you're left-handed, I would maybe recommend looking for a different video, just because I don't want to confuse you or anything like that. So with this cut yarn, I'm just going to give myself a little bit of yarn here. And I have the cut end coming from the top of my hand. And at the bottom of my hand is what's called the working yarn. So this is the yarn that's attached to my ball of yarn. And that's the yarn we're going to be working with while we crochet. So with this end up here, what I'm going to do is take my two fingers, my pointer finger and my middle finger, and I'm going to use my thumb to just kind of anchor this yarn here. I'm going to take this yarn and just wrap it around my two fingers 2 full times. So 1 and 2. And then I'm just going to use my ring finger here to kind of hold on to that little tail. So let me show you that one more time. I have my yarn here with the cut end at the top of my hand. And I'm going to use my thumb to just kind of anchor this yarn in place. And then I'm going to make 2 full loops around my pointer finger and my middle finger. So 1 and 2. And then use my ring finger just to kind of hold on to that little yarn tail. Next, I'm going to take my crochet hook and go underneath these first 2 loops on my fingers. So again, I'm just going to go underneath these first 2 loops and then grab my working yarn. This is, again, the working yarn, the yarn that's attached to our ball of yarn. And I'm going to take this 3rd loop here, the working yarn, and pull it underneath these front 2 loops, just like that. So again, I'm going to go underneath these front loops and then grab the yarn with my hook in the back and pull that back strand underneath the first 2 loops. And then next I'm going to come back over here to my working yarn and I'm going to yarn over my hook. So I'm just going to wrap the yarn over the top of my hook. This is called yarning over. And then I'm going to pull that yarn through the loop that's already on my hook. And now you have created your magic ring. So most crochet patterns will start by saying make 6 single crochet into a magic ring. So we have our magic ring, and now I'm going to show you how to make single crochet into that magic ring. So it's kind of similar to what we just did. I'm going to go underneath these front 2 loops again and yarn over my hook with that working yarn, and then pull it underneath these 2 loops. Pull up a loop on my hook. So now there's 2 loops on my hook. So again, I'm just going underneath these 2 loops. I'm going to yarn over my hook and then pull up another loop. So I'm just pulling that yarn underneath those 2 strands, and now there's 2 loops on my hook. And then I'm going to yarn over again and pull through these 2 loops. Pull this yarn through these 2 loops on my hook. And that's 1 single crochet. So let's do another one. I'm going to go under my 2 loops here and yarn over my hook and then pull up a loop. So I now have 2 loops on my hook. And then I'm going to yarn over my hook again and pull this yarn through these 2 loops. And that's 2 single crochet. And then again, I'm going underneath these 2 loops on my fingers. I'm going to yarn over my hook and pull up a loop. So I now have 2 loops on my hook. And then I'm going to yarn over again and pull through those 2 loops. So there's 3 single crochet in my magic ring, and we want to do 6. So again, I'm going to go under these 2 loops, yarn over my hook and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through these 2 loops. So there's 4, and then again, there's 5, and there's 6. So I now have 6 single crochet in my magic ring. And I'm just gonna kind of pull this yarn up with my hook just to secure it so I can take my hook out for a second. And then I'm gonna slide this magic ring off my fingers. And as you can see, there's 2 strands here. So I have my 6 single crochet back here. And then there's 2 strands here, and I want to find the one that's further away from me. So this one is kind of in the back of the magic ring. I'm going to take this back strand and just hold it between my pointer finger and my thumb. And then I'm going to take my other hand and use my pointer finger and my thumb to just lightly grab right here where our stitches start. I'm just lightly going to grab that and kind of hold it steady. And with this hand, I'm going to pull on this loop. I'm going to pull on this strand of yarn. So I'm just kind of pinching here, and I'm going to pull here. You don't want to pull too hard to break the yarn, but you might have to give it a little bit of a tug. So I'm just going to pull that as tight as I can until that loop closes up in the center. And then now I have 4 strands of yarn kind of sticking out from this loop. So this strand here that's connected to my stitch, this is the working yarn that we just had our hook in. So don't need that one right now. And then this next strand I have here is the working yarn that's attached to my ball of yarn. We don't need that one right now either, so I'm just gonna set those two aside. And then this is the kind of cut end of our yarn, the little yarn tail that we have. And we also have a little loop here. So what I'm gonna do is pull on this cut end of my yarn and hold so you wanna hold down the magic ring and pull on this end, and that's gonna close up this loop. Okay. So now you have your magic ring. If you're having trouble with this, I recommend just keep trying, don't give up. This is, like I said, one of the hardest parts of learning how to crochet, so don't be too hard on yourself. So next I'm going to take my hook and put it back in that big loop that we have. And then to kind of tighten up that yarn around my hook, I'm just going to grab that working yarn and pull on it to tighten up that yarn around my hook. And then as you can see here, I have 6 stitches. So these are my single crochet. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And this is where our stitch marker comes in. So this is my stitch marker. And as you can see, here is the last stitch that we just completed. It kind of makes that little V shape. And I know that it's the last one we just completed because it's right next to my hook. So I'm going to take my stitch marker and just put it inside of that stitch to mark off that stitch. So when you crochet, you work in rounds. So I'm going to go around 1 time, and that's round 1. And then there'll be instructions for round 2, round 3, etc. So the stitch marker just helps make it so that once you've gone all the way around 1 time, you'll know when you get to your stitch marker that you've gone fully around 1 time. So again, that's just in that last stitch that we just completed. And when we get back to that stitch, I'll know it's the last stitch of the round. I hope this video was helpful. If you are having trouble making a magic ring and you think that I could help, feel free to send me a message on Instagram or leave a comment down below, and I'd be happy to try to answer questions or help in any way that I can. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope to see you again soon.